The 2024 Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament has been set, but first, I'll go over the final standings and all this. Stanford at 15-3, then it's a tie for second with UCLA at 13-5 and USC at 13-5. And the tiebreaker goes to USC. They're the 2 seeded and UCLA is the 3. And there's Oregon State at 12-6 by themselves. And there's Colorado and Utah that are 11-7, which the nod, based on tiebreaker rules, Colorado gets that edge. And there's Arizona at 8-10. There's California and Washington State both at 7-9. 7-11. I apologize for misspeaking there. And California is the 8th seed, and Washington State is the 9th. So it really didn't matter. Just based on tiebreaker rules. You gotta go through all that stuff. And there's Washington at 6-12, and Arizona State at 3-15, and Oregon 2-16. And we better enjoy the last year of the Pac-12 tournament. I'm just saying that because, as we all know, with all this conference realignment, teams are going to the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12, and Oregon State and Washington State. Yes, they're technically the Pac-2, but in women's basketball, they will be in the West Coast Conference next year. Next few years, in fact. So, until they get like another invite somewhere like the Mountain West as a full-blown deal, or the ACC, if the ACC loses teams and then they invite them. But you get the whole point. And the Pac-12 tournament will start March 6th, and this will be played at Las Vegas, Nevada, at MGM Grand Garden Arena. So the first game, and all these times here are in Pacific, so I'm going to just address that up front. And the network for all these games up to the championship is ESPN. Is Pac-12 network. Obviously, the championship game is on ESPN. So I'm just going to go over that as well. So the first game of the day, the 5 seed Colorado takes on the 12 seed Oregon at noon. The 8 seed California takes on the 9 seed Washington State at 2:30 p.m. or 30 minutes after the first game. Then the 7 seed Arizona takes on the 10 seed Washington at 6 p.m. The 6 seed Utah will take on the 11 seed Arizona State at 8:30 p.m. or 30 minutes after. I'm only saying 30 minutes after because, what if games run late? You got to get some time for the teams to warm up. So now, March 7th, the first game of the day is Oregon State versus the winner of Colorado and Oregon. I would think Colorado, but anything could happen in these conference tournaments, remember. At noon, then there's the 1 seed Stanford will take on the winner of Cal and Washington State or 30 minutes after. And by the way, the Cal-Washington State game is the 2:30 or 30 minutes after. But like I said, the 2 seed USC will take on the winner of Arizona and Washington at 6 p.m. And the 3 seed UCLA will play at 8:30 p.m. or 30 minutes later between the Utah and Arizona State game. Okay, the semifinal game. Obviously, it's like the winner of the Stanford and Cal versus Cal / Washington State game, and the 4 seed Oregon State versus the 5 seed Colorado Oregon game. Winner of that game versus Oregon will play at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific time, and then the next game will be like the 2 seed USC versus the winner of the Arizona Washington game at 7:30 p.m. or 30 minutes after against the 3 seed UCLA versus the winner of the Utah Arizona State game. And obviously both those semifinals will be in the championship and will be played on March 10th. Yeah, by the way, the semifinal games are March 8th. Yeah, so they have Saturday off. So it's day in between to prep for one game, which I think it's a good thing for these teams. And March 10th, they play at 2 p.m. Pacific time for the championship game. So, Utah might have hurt themselves for a host site, but maybe they could play up to it. And if you're any of those teams that are not in the NCAA tournament because you're not an at-large bid, you got to find a way. Or if you're on a bubble, you got to find a way to get yourselves in. Obviously, when a conference tournament, you're automatically in. And Oregon State could still a host site, I believe. They still will be, but I don't know. But I definitely know Stanford, USC, and UCLA will. And obviously these games do affect the seeding as well, and not just like if you're definitely a host site, are you like a 2 seed or 1 seed or a 3 seed or a 4 seed, for example. And Colorado could very well play themselves on the host line potentially. We've got to wait and see. And I'm going to go with the latest bracketology in a few days from now, just to give some context there. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe it. See you guys later. On the road to 600 subscribers, score. So the ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So you might not have to score. So like a video, comment video, really helps YouTube algorithm so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button, it's free, the notification bell as well. And we all know the selection show for women's basketball is 2 weeks from now. So this way, all these teams get a week of rest before selection show, and then they play the NCAA tournament. We'll get all that. So we're going to wait and see what happens.